Hello, hump day, happy Wednesday. So, CBT. Do we know what CBT is? Cognitive Behaviour Therapy. I've been thinking about that this morning, along with love versus fear. So a couple of tools which I find useful, and maybe you will find them useful too. So for me, it's when I'm having a bit of a wobble, when I've got negative thoughts spinning around, which can lead into a downward spiral for thoughts and mood and actions, tapping into the self-harm video I talked about last week, or whatever else is present in negative behaviours, unhelpful stuff. So, I had a bit of a wobble. I'm still having a bit of a wobble, but I'm less wobbly than I was. And many of us, I feel, are feeling the wobbles more now than usual because of this pressurizing situation that we're finding ourselves in. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about CBT, what it is, how it can be helpful, and also love versus fear, which is another tool, like I said, that can be used in these wobbly times. So CBT is, hello Kath, I hope you're well. CBT is Cognitive Behaviour Therapy, and if you go to your doctor with feelings of stress, anxiety, depression, overwhelm, you're more than likely will be referred to 6 sessions of CBT. It is the talking therapy of choice for the NHS, partly because it's cheap and accessible, and partly because it has proven benefits. For me, I personally feel that it is useful. Hello, Rachel. In certain circumstances, I don't think it's a substitute for doing depth psychotherapy or long-term work, but it can be a really useful tool for reframing what's going on and getting to a healthier place in our minds and our feelings. So it's pretty simple, really, and on my mental health first aid courses we use the ABC model of CBT, if that's not too many acronyms for you. And ABC, it's basically a cyclical process. So it starts with the A, which is the activating event, so that's the thing that might send you into negativity. And then the B is beliefs, so what kind of thoughts and beliefs that come up for you as a result of that event. And then the C is the consequences, which is what happens because of those thoughts. So it's probably best illustrated with a simple example. So imagine you are sat on a bus back in those times when we were allowed to sit on buses, and a friend of yours who you've not seen for a while gets on the bus, and you raise your hand to wave and acknowledge your friend, and they just walk straight past you. They blank you. They don't wave back. They don't say hello. So that's the A, that's the activating event. You wave at your friend, they walk past you, and they've ignored you, apparently. So the B, the belief, is what sort of thoughts might go through your head at that point in time. And if you're feeling quite negative, or if you're inclined to negativity, as most of us are wired that way anyway, you might think, ooh, he doesn't like me, or he's fallen out with me, or he's ignoring me, or I've upset him, or something like that, which could make us feel really bad. And that's the C, that's the consequences. Because we've had that negative thought, it's the story we've told ourselves. He doesn't like me, he's ignoring me, I've upset him, he's never liked me. The C, the consequences, is then how you feel and how you act as a result of that. So you might start to feel really depressed or anxious or worried, or start to question your own worth in the world even. And that can lead us down a really negative spiral and onto all sorts of things like self-harm, as I said before, or just low self-esteem, or into depression, anxiety, all sorts of not very pleasant things. So the CBT model says what you can do at any of those stages, the A or the B or the C, is change your thinking and then change your behaviour. So for example, in that instance there where the person walked past you and blanked you apparently, you could say, okay, well, maybe it's not to do with them not liking me or having fallen out with me. Maybe they had their headphones in and they didn't hear me saying hello. Maybe they didn't have their glasses on. They didn't spot me on the bus. Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe they've got a twin that I didn't know about, or a doppelganger. Or maybe they were just preoccupied and just didn't notice you sitting there. So from that, you can kind of put a stop to the negative cycle, and you don't end up feeling bad about yourself and getting all depressed or anxious or worried about your worth as a human being. So that's a very simple example of how ABC can be helpful. That CBT model, Cognitive Behaviour Therapy, it kind of allows you some space at each of those events to reframe what might be going on. Is there any evidence for these beliefs, these thoughts that I'm having? Are these feelings valid? And could there be an alternative explanation? So that's it, pretty simple really. And possibly even simpler than that is another tool that I like to use sometimes, which is in any situation where I've got a decision or I've got some uncomfortable feelings going on, I ask myself, is this coming from love or is this coming from fear? And that may seem oversimplified, but I truly believe that 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, all the decisions that we wrestle with and all the difficult feelings we wrestle with are either based on love or fear. So to give you an example, this week I've been struggling a bit on the ups and downs. As I said on my video the other day, I'm having a bit of a down, but I'm coming back up again. So thank you for all your support and messages of encouragement. Very kind of you to get in touch. Not least Kath and Rachel, thank you. Helps me to feel supported when people reach out like that. So that's really lovely, thank you. What was I saying? Love and fear, yes. So this week I've had some challenges, and when I'm feeling really resilient, they'd be like water off a duck's back. But because I've had 3 or 4 challenging things this week and I was already feeling a bit drained and tired and stuff, I struggled to cope with them and started getting into this negative spiral of thinking and all that type of stuff. And I could ask myself, okay, where is this coming from? Is this coming from love? Is it coming from fear? So underneath all of the overwhelm and negative feelings and thoughts I was having, it was very easy for me to identify that it was all fear-based. I don't want to make it sound like this is easy for everyone to do. I have kind of practiced this for a while. I have some training and personal development around this area, so I'm quite familiar with it. But for me, it just took the space of cleaning my teeth this morning to realise, okay, what's underneath this? What is underneath these feelings? Okay, it's things of, I've got too much to do, I haven't got enough time, I'm going to run out of money, I'm not going to make a success of this Thrive 5 thing, I'm not good enough, all of that stuff. And it was all coming from fear. Fear of not being good enough, fear of not having enough time, fear of running out of money. So I could pinpoint that and say, yeah, it's natural to feel this fear, but actually in this moment, there is no threat to me. I'm not going to be homeless if I don't suddenly magic thousands of pounds out of the air. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to, that nothing terrible is going to happen to my most important relationships or anything. So I could get a bit of perspective and then come from a place of love and just be compassionate and say, do you know what? You're doing what you love. You're being passionate about it. You're doing your best. And things will work out and you will be fine. So just trusting that all will be well and carrying on. Like I said in that running video the other day, just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Sometimes you need to take a rest. That's what I need to do today. I need to take a rest. So I shouldn't be on here really. I should be having a day off from the hive today, but I just thought I've processed all this stuff this morning and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to put it out there because it might be useful to somebody else. And it's probably useful for me as well to just organise my thoughts and things get stronger, I think, when we share them. It gets embedded more. I find that anyway. So that's it. Yeah, if you're feeling wobbly, if you're having any difficult decisions, you think, shall I go this way or do this thing? You could do the CBT thing, look at the activating event, the belief and the consequences, or possibly even simpler, you could think, is this decision coming from a place of love or is it coming from a place of fear? And in my experience, if we acknowledge the fear but then say, yeah, do you know what, that's just some thoughts, it's not necessarily true, come from a place of love, trust in yourself, trust in the universe, fate, God, whatever you want to call it. Keep putting one foot in front of the other and you'll be right. So that's what I'm telling myself at the minute as I turn off the computer for a while and go outside and have a bit of fun and a bit of fresh air and connect with nature and myself. And hope that was useful. Hope it made sense. If you've got any comments or questions, do send them through. Happy to open up the conversation. Perhaps not immediately because I might be having a bit of rest time, but I will get back to you. So thanks for being there. Thanks again for your messages of support and hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. 7 o'clock tonight, mindful yoga. Join Jackie on Zoom. She's great and I hope you enjoy it if you join it. Take care and see you soon.